Good morning, everybody. CL King. Thank you for your continued belief and support in our mission of impacting one life, one day at a time, and your overwhelming love and support throughout these past 15 years on this journey of going from every town and hamlet as far as we can go. And then, in some cases, places that we can't go, we go. Nonetheless, I wanted to just tell you, there was a scene in the movie The Book of Eli, starring the great Denzel Washington, who, in my opinion, is the greatest actor on the planet. There was a scene where he was headed toward west, and his mission was to get the scriptures that he was carrying. He was getting those scriptures that were written in Braille to a place where it could be reprinted. It was the last Bible on the earth. And as he was traversing and passing through various towns, he came along the first encounter of some people who wanted to rob him and take his stuff. And of course, he decimated them with great ease. And then as he was carrying on in his mission and his journey, he comes to another intersection where there's an engagement between some bandits and some innocent sojourners, some innocent travelers. And those coyotes, those hijackers, wound up killing those people and pillaging their items. And Denzel was watching it unfold from the cover of a hill. And he said something that struck me, even though we're talking about Hollywood and a movie. He said something that struck me that I try to apply to my life. He said, stay on the path. He said, it's not your fight. Stay on the path. And as he was watching, he probably could have very well went down there and engaged those bandits, maybe even saved the lives of those people, but he could have lost his life trying to intervene in a situation that just was not his issue. It just wasn't his time. He had already dealt with some bandits before, and he said, man, I got to keep on the path. He said, I got to stay on the path. Stay on the path. Stay on the path. That's what he was speaking to himself. He was saying, stay on the path. So, as a leader, as a person of influence, I can't weigh in on everything that goes on in this world. That's not my calling. My calling is not to be a ticker tape, knee-jerk response to everything that happens. You know, should I be more specific for you? I'm not going to reshare the video of those people in the melee down in Alabama. I'm not going to exhaust my equity on that. But you say you don't care. That's not the point. We video, film, document everything. Everything is filmed. Everything is shared. Everything is reproduced. Everybody sees it. And everybody weighs in. But then we go back to our prospective corners and do nothing to change our communities. Oh, when I go on these walks, it's usually without sugar. We share and we post memes with people with chairs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's fine. It's your right to do that. It's your platform. Do it. But do not expect the Impact Motivator to do that. That doesn't make me better than you. I'm just telling you, I don't have time to share and weigh in on every hot button topic of the latest hour. I can't. Because God said, I want you to do this. I want you on this path. And sometimes it's very easy because we see something that may even trigger us. It's very easy to just get consumed with the notion that it's share worthy, or I got to comment, or I got to weigh in, man. You know what I got to do? I got to get myself ready to talk to a auditorium full of young people tomorrow night, who many of them may be hurting, who don't have fathers and mothers, who may be struggling in life. I got to get ready to talk to them. I don't have the capacity to weigh in on every other thing. And I know that may sound crass, and that may sound cruel, but it's a reality, man. That's what God called me to do. He said, I want you to stay on the path. I've got you leading in this capacity, and this is what I want you to do. Don't get yourself so sidetracked by it. It was grievous what Denzel watched in that movie. Those people unjustifiably killed by some highway bandits who were just pillaging their items. And he could have very easily said, man, I need to go weigh in on that. But then he recognized, man, I've got a God called path that I'm supposed to walk. And if you're on the path in life, if you're on the path where God has called you somewhere and called you to something and called you for a mission and called you for a people, called you for a purpose, that sometimes you just need to be silent. That doesn't mean agree. That doesn't mean compromise. But sometimes you just need to be silent. There are times when it requires a voice to cry aloud and spare not. But if your voice only serves to precipitate the problem and regurgitate the same already known issue, then that's not progress, in my opinion. What is progress is when you say, hey man, there obviously is still some tensions in our communities. It looks like Alabama is revealing that. But I'm not going to go out here and say things that further fuel the tensions and do nothing to bring resolve to them. That serves absolutely no purpose. And I just want to be clear. I want you to be, sometimes people ask me, well, King, are you going to do a show on this? Are you going to do a podcast on that? Are you going to talk about this? Are you going to give a lecture on that? No. Don't ask me. Okay? When you're called by God to do a be on a path, then you're on that path. That's just the way it is. And there are times when you need to speak up and you need to speak out. And then there are times when your speaking could do nothing more than put gas on an already outrageous inferno. So when you don't see me weigh in on something, it's because God said not to. And he the chief boss in my life, yo. I grieve, and my heart aches for seeing people treat folks with malice and unkindness and hatred and vitriol. Man, my heart grieves for that. So instead of using my platform to propel the very things that make me grieve, I say I'm not gonna stoop to that foolishness. No, I'll give up my Friday night, travel out of town to a community where young people are gathered on a Friday night by their own choice. Nobody makes them. And they've been going there since I've been going there since 2010. It's called The Gate. And I'll give up my Friday night. My team is going down there, and we are going to minister to those young people about avoiding the allures of this world. So I don't have to post a white folding chair. I don't have to recycle a video of folks brawling. And you know what? I don't have to do any of that. I am putting my wheels in motion for what God told me to do. Because let me tell you something. Time is entirely too short. And I have a feeling sometimes that on all sides, in all things, I'm a professional content creator. 75,000 people a month tune in to what I do. I don't do this as a hobby. I'm a professional. And the last thing I need to do is rile up some people that are already grieved by what they saw and say, yeah, let's go burn down every neighborhood in this country. Man, it's foolishness. And God didn't call me to do that. If he calls you to do it, use your platform to do that. Right? If he calls you to do it, use your platform to do it. He didn't call me to do that. He called me to set free those that are captive. He called me to go to those that are broken. I asked the men and women in the Craven County Jail, I've been going there for the last 12 months. How many other people come and see y'all? None. No one. So we can post and we can be on our right or left side of every issue, but we can't get up off of our duff and actually go do anything. It's easy to be a social media Nazi. It's another thing to go out there and actually do it. I don't get paid a dime to go in that jail. And I'm trying to get to 67 of them. So what would be the greater work? Sharing a video of a malicious attack on a man, and then the unfortunate spillage of the brawl and human life, and just let's say, hey man, we drawing lines and this is war and blah blah blah. Man, them people were foolish. They should be locked up. Put them under the jail. But at the end of the day, I got a path that God called me to. I can't be out here inciting more violence, inciting more anxiety in people's hearts. I can't do that. And I won't do that. I've never done that. When the situation with George Floyd happened, you best believe I spoke out on it. But then I said, okay, what's our next move? I didn't just say, you know, Greg works for the police department. So I have a very intimate relationship with police departments. And I wouldn't say, shut down all police departments, all police are corrupt, the world is coming to an end. But instead I said, man, let's do something to work with police to bridge this gap that evidently still is alive in the community and the police department. After I said my piece about George Floyd, I rolled up my sleeves and got after it. And this is one of the things that if you want to know what triggers CL, it triggers me, man, when I see people just sit back and regurgitate, post, and share. And then I look at what they're doing nothing. So exhaust yourself with sharing something that will do nothing more than serve to divide people further. I challenge you to find a cause. I challenge you to find a purpose. I challenge you to say, hey man, I'm holding a community meeting in my community and I want us all to get together and we're going to commit that we're not going to have that kind of stuff going on in our neighborhood. Imagine that. Wouldn't that be a thought? Wouldn't that be like a reality? No. But it's easier to do that. And this is why as a leader, and this is why as a man of faith, this is why as a person who's been put on a path, I don't weigh in on everything. Even this is probably too much for me. Because if God says be silent, then woe is unto me if I go in there adding more fuel. You can take two things to a fire. You can take a gas can, or you can take water. And I don't ever want to be responsible for. I don't ever want to be responsible for further dividing. And the Holy Ghost, the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost. I know that might sound pie in